Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Battleverse. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most shocking and globally significant events in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, the massive blow to Russia after the Crimean Bridge attack. This bridge, long considered a centerpiece of Russia's engineering pride and a lifeline for its military operations, has now turned into the epicenter of vulnerability, fear, and strategic disruption. In this video, we will explore every layer of this dramatic development in detail, looking at how it affects Russia, Ukraine, and the broader world. We will examine the outside symbolism of the bridge, the deeper interior meaning behind its destruction, the impact on performance and supply chains, the safety failures that were exposed, the unique role this bridge has always played, the costs of rebuilding or losing it, and finally, what this means for the course of the war and global politics. The Crimean Bridge, also known as the Kerch Strait Bridge, has always been a symbol far beyond steel, asphalt, and concrete. It was constructed after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014 and opened with great ceremony in 2018, with President Vladimir Putin personally driving across it in a truck during the inauguration. To Russia, it was more than just infrastructure. It was a statement of permanence, a sign that Crimea was fully tied to the Russian Federation, not just politically but physically. Its design stretched across the narrow waters of the Kerch Strait, connecting mainland Russia to the Crimean Peninsula. For many Russians, this bridge was a symbol of victory and strength, something to be admired both for its scale and for the message it sent to the rest of the world. But the very strength and pride it symbolized has now been turned against it, as Ukraine demonstrated that no matter how imposing the exterior looks, it can still be broken when determination and precise strategy come into play. The attack on the bridge has sent shockwaves across Russia and beyond. On the exterior, it has left massive damage to the visible structure. Parts of the bridge collapsed into the sea, black smoke rose high into the air, and flames engulfed sections of the roadway. Video footage quickly spread across the world, showing explosions and destruction in real time, shocking people globally who understood immediately the magnitude of this blow. What was once a proud symbol of Russia's control has turned into a global headline of Russian weakness. The psychological effect of seeing the bridge burning is almost as powerful as the physical effect of losing the transport connection itself. For ordinary Russians, it shattered the illusion that their military and their infrastructure are untouchable. For Ukrainians, it was a moment of triumph and proof that their strategy can target Russia at its most sensitive points. Looking at the deeper interior, the true damage of the Crimean Bridge attack is revealed. This bridge was not only symbolic but also an essential logistical lifeline. The interior importance of the bridge lies in its role as a supply artery. Tanks, trucks carrying ammunition, trains loaded with fuel, and convoys of food and materials all used the bridge as a direct channel between Russia and its forces in Crimea. For Russian civilians, the bridge was the route that connected them to the mainland, used for travel, commerce, and family ties. Cutting this interior supply line forces Russia to reroute its logistics through more vulnerable and less efficient paths, straining an already pressured military system. For Ukraine, striking at the interior heart of Russia's supply chain was a masterstroke, showing not only their capability but also their understanding of how to inflict maximum disruption with minimum resources. The interior meaning goes even deeper. It is a strike at Russian confidence, a collapse of the trust that their infrastructure and security can protect them. The symbolism of the interior collapse is as devastating as the physical break in the bridge. The performance of the bridge throughout the war has been critical. Since the invasion of Ukraine began in 2022, Russia relied on the Crimean Bridge to keep its military operations in the southern regions supplied and active. The performance of this structure meant that Russia could move heavy equipment, maintain its positions in Crimea, and reinforce its armies in Kherson and other contested territories. But after the attack, the performance capability has been severely reduced. Russia can no longer move military supplies as quickly or as safely as before. Every truck that passes now risks delays, every train must face scrutiny, and every supply route must consider the possibility of further attacks. This means the bridge's performance as a military tool has collapsed, turning what was once a strength into a weakness. The ripple effect on Russia's war effort is massive because logistics is the backbone of any army, and without efficient logistics, the performance of soldiers on the ground also diminishes. Ukraine understood this and targeted it precisely, ensuring that the performance gap would hurt Russia's war machine far more than a simple battlefield loss ever could. When we talk about safety, the Crimean Bridge was presented by Russia as nearly indestructible. The structure was designed to resist harsh weather, earthquakes, and constant heavy usage. It was guarded by Russian defense systems, patrolled by ships, and monitored to prevent sabotage. Yet despite all these safety measures, the bridge was successfully attacked, proving that no defense is absolute. The failure of these safety protocols is a major embarrassment for Russia, as it exposes flaws not just in infrastructure security, but also in military readiness. It raises questions inside Russia about the effectiveness of their much-touted air defense systems and security forces. If a bridge as important and protected as this can be attacked, what does that mean for other targets across Russia? The psychological blow of knowing that safety measures were bypassed is perhaps even more powerful than the physical strike itself. It shows that Russia's enemies can reach deep into its territory, no matter how well guarded it appears. The unique selling point of the Crimean Bridge was always its symbolism. It was not just a bridge, it was marketed as a permanent link between Russia and Crimea, something that would never be broken. For Russia, it stood as proof of their ability to annex and hold territory. For propagandists, it was a tool to show the world that Crimea belonged to Russia forever. But now that unique selling point has turned into a weakness. The very thing that made the bridge unique, its role as a political and military symbol, has also made it a target. By striking it, Ukraine has not just damaged infrastructure, it has destroyed an image, undermined propaganda, and shaken the narrative that Russia wanted to project. What was once a symbol of power is now a symbol of vulnerability. The unique selling point has flipped from being a strength to being a glaring weakness. The price of this attack is enormous for Russia. Financially, the bridge originally cost billions to build, and repairing it will cost billions more. Beyond money, the political price is devastating. Russia must now admit that it cannot even protect its most prized asset, raising questions among its citizens and allies about its military strength. The cost in terms of strategy is also immense because losing the bridge as a reliable supply route forces the Russian army to rethink its southern operations. For Ukraine, however, the price was relatively small compared to the impact achieved. A single strike, carefully planned, caused billions of dollars worth of damage and inflicted a heavy psychological cost on their enemy. The price-to-impact ratio heavily favors Ukraine, making this one of the most effective operations of the war from their perspective. In conclusion, The attack on the Crimean Bridge is more than just a physical strike on steel and asphalt. It is a strike on Russia's pride, strategy, and psychological stability. It changes the dynamics of the war by disrupting supply chains, exposing weaknesses in defenses, and flipping propaganda symbols into vulnerabilities. The world has taken notice, and the attack has already reshaped global perceptions of the conflict. For Russia, this is a moment of reckoning, a painful reminder that no matter how powerful they appear, they can still be hurt in their most sensitive areas. For Ukraine, it is a moment of triumph, a symbol of resilience and proof that determination combined with strategy can bring even the strongest structures down. The Crimean Bridge will forever be remembered not just as a piece of infrastructure, but as a turning point in the war, a reminder that symbols of power can quickly turn into symbols of weakness when faced with courage, planning, and relentless will.